What does your agency do when you cannot run Google Ads? When you run the risk of being shadow banned on social media, or when the business model that you're operating in is riddled with uncertainty and legislative restrictions? Trevor Shirk, CEO and founder of Terrayn, has it all figured out. Trevor gave us a scoop on how Terrayn managed to navigate the retail cannabis marketing niche to grow their client list to more than 400 businesses. The cannabis industry is relatively new and comes with its own set of challenges.
In cannabis, there's no playbook, right? There was nobody to model. Like if I wanted to do dental marketing for dentists, there's plenty of people that have already solved that X and figured out how to win in that industry because it's been around for years and years. Same with chiropractors, you name it. There's people that have hey, you do organic while you do paid ads, while you do this, you run a funnel, you do all this stuff. Well, we were in a space that didn't have any of those playbooks. So that's a challenge. New industry, there's opportunity there, but there's also the challenge of how do I got to create the solution. I just can't go borrow it from somebody that's already done it and model after them.
The industry is ever changing, with marketing agencies navigating these murky edges on what's allowed on social media and websites.
I mean, it now to some degree has, because people like us have a plethora of case studies and know what we're doing. But 3 years ago, we didn't. We were learning as we went, making hypotheses, going out, testing it, figuring out it worked or didn't work, and then adjusting what we were doing.
But Terrayn wasn't always involved in the cannabis industry.
We'd worked in probably 12 different industries, and some were good, some were not a great fit for us. So we ultimately really liked working with retailers, we call them, or dispensary owners. We really found hey, we really like this industry. We like the people in it. We like the results we can produce. Let's just focus here. It's underserved. And we just made that business decision to pivot and focus on that vertical.
Trevor and the team at Terrayn narrowed down a niche that aligned with Terrayn's culture.
We were trying to help clients who didn't have thousands to spend. They had hundreds to spend. And a lot of other agencies go down the path of how can I extract the most? We were looking at it from a place of and this comes from my mother being a business owner, a small business owner on a local level. She could have never spent $1,500 a month on marketing. And I remember seeing some data point that showed 90% of businesses, small businesses, only have a budget of 500 to 1,000. And I was so there's a huge market in here that can't afford, what I want to charge would be awesome for me, but they can't afford it. So what could we do in that range that would have enough value to, make it worthwhile for everybody? I think that's part of who we are. We're helping those underdogs who are, local in their community, and they have a dream and a vision for their business, and we want to help them achieve it. And that's where we get our ego bump, is when we see them being successful and we know we helped. It's yes, we did it. That's why we do it. One of my sales reps at the time had said hey, we have this cool marketing system and program we've been running. It's helped these different businesses. What if we tried a dispensary? And I was yeah, let's try it. We tried it. It worked really well. And we really at that point saw a really strong need and that we could really help. And we just said well, instead of trying to help all these other industries, what if we just became really good at this one and focused on it? It's just getting started. It was pretty early on, and it still is early on. So it just became a better fit for the business.
The knowledge gained from previous industries helped Terrayn navigate this newer, more complicated one.
There's a lot of things in other industries you can do to help somebody market, right? You can run paid digital ads. You can programmatic, you can write content, you can I'll throw out Facebook ads, Google AdWords, there's all this stuff, SEO, all these things you can do if you're working with a med spa, tattoo removal, any other business. When you come to cannabis, you really can only do organic, and that's it. You can't run paid ads in the US online for dispensaries because it's still federally illegal. So the cool part about the industry that helped our strategy was we were already good at just the organic and the really targeted organic around local mobile searches. When we got into cannabis, it was like, oh, well, you can't even do all this other stuff anyway. Let's just, that makes it easy for us. We don't have to worry about trying to do AdWords. We don't have to worry about trying to do all this stuff. Let's just do that. So that's how it became a really good fit. Was our sweet spot, our strength was their biggest pain point, and it was like a perfect connection.
As part of their strategy, the team at Terrayn decided to align their brand with this new niche.
A lot of it's based on our values, like as a company, but Terrayn ultimately, that branding, that name comes from a concept from the military called key terrain. And when you secure key terrain, it means you basically you have an advantage to win the battle. And a lot of these businesses we help, we realized that the key terrain for them to win big was connecting them to the local motivated buyers in their local market. So if we could do that with our solution, we had secured the key terrain. So that's where the word Terrayn became the name when we pivoted, because we saw it as, this is key terrain for winning if you're a retail dispensary. And then the Terra piece became like earth, green. Cannabis is a very green, like earthy, like natural, organic, like that's where that kind of came into it.
The Terrayn team soon specialized in creating visibility for the hyper-local businesses that they served.
So the best way to probably put it is, in 2014, Google released this data point that 78% of local mobile searches resulted in offline conversions. Meaning when I pull out my phone in a local area, whether I'm in a town I've never been and I'm looking for a coffee shop or pizza place, the intent to buy is really high in that moment when I have my phone and I'm like looking. So our marketing connects that local search and mobile search to that local nearest solution, which, in cannabis is like dispensary search and then this nearest dispensary. And so what we found is that if we can get them to get found for that search, then there's a high likelihood that that will drive more people in the door, which leads to more total transactions, which can lead to more gross sales. Years ago in like 2017, we started looking at local mobile search and how to get in front of it. And we kind of took the best of like local SEO, the best of like national SEO, and we developed our own proprietary way to tackle that. And we built a back-end process and system and infrastructure to support that.
Trevor reflected on a specific experience which allowed Terrayn to develop this proprietary strategy.
We had a pain point with a tattoo removal clinic in Detroit that only had a really small budget, but needed to get like a lot of traction and growth, or they were going to shut down the business. So we said like, well, since you don't have a budget to pay us what we should probably get paid to do like SEO, let's try something else. Let's see if there's weight and merit to this like 78% of local mobile searches that Google released. Like, what if we could just get you showing up in local mobile searches? And we did, we figured that out, and then it worked really well for him. So it was a game changer for his business. And we were like, okay, that's true. And there's a large opportunity there if you can get in front of those local searches. When we pivoted into this industry, we were building a client base in the industry, and we started to learn it. And we made a conscious decision to hire industry insiders and people with high levels of expertise in other like crafts, like whether that's account management or customer success. But we pulled in industry insiders, and that to me has been a decisive advantage for us. Is the guy who's managing your account as a client of ours has also owned and run dispensaries. That's uncommon because they know what the challenges are like because they did it. That decision to me, like our people is what gives us an advantage, because the back end of what we do and how we do it can always be adjusted and changing. But the fact that our people are highly skilled, highly trained, talented, and have our culture and our values is what I think sets us apart. Do you think your sales are what they could be? Do you think you're getting enough people in the door? Like those higher level conversations that our clients want to have, that's a huge like differentiator there. Like if I say this, like, and I haven't done it and I haven't lived it, then I just have an opinion. Like, it's not that highly credible, right? But if I've actually done it, then I have advice. And a lot of our folks, even the ones that haven't done it, have learned from our other folks that have, and we'll pull those other folks in and say, hey, can you help my client because they're struggling with this operational challenge.
There's a lot to be learned from Terrayn's strategies and successes. Check out the links in the description for the blogs where you can find more information. Like this video and looking for more growth tips for your marketing agency? Check out this video right here. See you in the next video from the Agency Combinator series from Agency Analytics.